Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. We are back with some breaking news here on this Thursday afternoon. Let me hit the button right here. An extension has been signed in the city of Pittsburgh by a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. It is not the one that we have been expecting, but it is one that we will welcome very happily. General Manager Omar Khan and the Pittsburgh Steelers have agreed to an extension. The Steelers posting themselves 14 minutes ago now that GM Omar Khan has signed a new 3-year contract that will keep him as the team's general manager through the 2028 season. That just 14 minutes ago now. We are sort of learning all the details about this deal here in real time. I got to say, on behalf of all Steelers fans, well, majority of Steelers fans, there are a couple out there who, will take some of the trades that he's made over the past couple of months, especially shipping out guys like George Pickens and Minkah Fitzpatrick. But mostly all Steelers fans, most of them, are happy that this has happened. General Manager Omar Khan, since he has taken over for Kevin Colbert going back a couple of years now, has gone outside the box in terms of moves that the Steelers made. With General Manager Kevin Colbert, who was here for decades, we sort of came used to the Steelers making certain moves. They haven't gone out and splashed big in free agency. You usually see them more as a drafting and developing team where they select someone, they will give that draft pick each and every opportunity and then some to make their spot here on the team. You haven't seen big trades at all, shipping off, high profile players on the team for big personalities from other teams. All of that, Omar Khan, for the most part, has done the opposite of that. Just look at this offseason in general, and even going back to last offseason, you have seen stuff where it's like you're playing GM mode on Madden. You have seen Omar Khan do things that you didn't even think were possible, especially for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going back to last offseason, he brought in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Kenny Pickett after just 2 years on the job, which, by the way, Kevin Colbert, that was his last first-round draft pick, picking up Kenny Pickett, thought he was leaving his successor, Omar Khan, with a franchise quarterback. Omar says, nope, not working out. 2 years in Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett, well, also because he requested a trade out of here once Russell Wilson was brought in, he gets kicked to the curb. Another first-round pick of Kevin Colbert's, Najee Harris. He's now out in Los Angeles. Just going over some other things, Omar Khan. The Steelers, they went a pretty long streak of not addressing the defensive line or offensive line with, top of the draft picks. Pretty much every single year that Omar's been on the job, it's been that. Broderick Jones, Troy Fautanu this year, Derek Harmon. So he's gone to the idea of we're going to play Steelers football, but we're not going to build Steelers football the way that we have for years. We're going to invest in the trenches once again, part of why the Steelers have done so. Omar Khan's right-hand man, Andy Weidel from the Philadelphia Eagles organization, which, by the way, I'm shocked that he hasn't become a general manager in the league by now. But regardless, we've seen Omar Khan do stuff left and right that we didn't even think was possible for the Steelers this offseason, trading away Minkah Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey, pretty much, giving us a ton of depth now at the corner position. George Pickens, after, 3 years of being an absolute distraction on and off the field and not, paying returns on that investment on the field. He gets traded away. The Steelers bring in DK Metcalf, pay him the highest contract that I think the Steelers have ever given to a wide receiver. There's also still a TJ Watt extension that needs to get done, but now with Watt most likely heading towards a holdout, you wonder if that's going to reach a resolution here in Pittsburgh or if he could get shipped off. I'm at the point right now. I love this Omar Khan. He is going to beat to his own drum. This also tells me the moves that we've made for the most part this offseason have been Omar Khan putting his foot down, saying, we are done with the BS here in Pittsburgh, and we are going to build this team more the way I see it. Because for years, it's been Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin. They've been, constructing the rosters of the team, and then it hasn't paid out. We haven't won a playoff game in damn near a decade now. Omar Khan and Andy White, I think they've acquired more say. Now, Tomlin still has his moments of bringing in people he likes, like Aaron Rodgers first and foremost. But Omar Khan, he is building this team in a good way that I think is going to lead to more winning here in the not too distant future, building in the trenches, bringing in championship pedigree out of the college ranks, drafted 2 national champions last year, and really investing in the offensive line. Probably my favorite pick in his tenure so far, getting Zach Frazier from West Virginia. And that is kind of a hard pill for me to swallow as a Pitt fan, saying that the best pick the Steelers have made has been a Mountaineer. But hey, Zach Frazier, he's going to be a top 5 center in the league this year. And Omar Khan, he has done a lot of good here. We're going to get to more on this deal, see if there's any more specifics about it here in a minute. Let's go to the comment section real quick. Flacco, welcome back. Let's go. Most creative GM indeed. Very outside the box thinking in terms of what the Steelers have been known to do. We always have talked about here in the past, the Steelers, they do things certain ways. You won't see them do this, do that. Omar Khan, he has done, more than what we have come used to over the past decade here in Pittsburgh, using acquired, lots of young, good talent, investing heavily in the trenches. Steelers have a stockpile of draft picks to move up and hopefully get their quarterback of the future next year. Really, I want to say that this contract extension has been reached because I think, there's still a couple things that need to be done here this offseason, getting TJ Watt officially locked up, maybe adding a wide receiver, another wide receiver, maybe another safety as well. But I will give Omar Khan tons of credit, for being a couple of years on the job now. He has threaded a very thin needle here. The Steelers this year, I think with Aaron Rodgers, who's going to go all in his final year in the NFL, bringing in DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, hitting it off in the draft, in my opinion, Derek Harmon, Caleb Johnson, who's going to be a hell of a running back, I believe, going and getting Jack Sawyer, Y.A. Black, those kinds of guys. I do think he threaded the needle of where this team can compete this year, and also with multiple picks in next year's draft, the good chance that they can trade up. I think that they can also, trade up in the draft next year, get their quarterback in Pittsburgh. He's threaded a thin needle of competing now and also having a good chance to compete long-term here in the future. Not seeing anything here as in terms of, salary. It is a 3-year deal extended through the 2028 season. We are seeing a lot of different posts saying the same thing right now. Going to click here more on the actual post itself from the Steelers. If it'll load up here. Omar Khan, his, statement here upon signing this extension. I am excited to announce, this is from Art Rooney II. I am excited to announce we have signed Omar to a new 3-year contract. Omar and his team have done a great job over the past 3 years in constructing our roster through the NFL draft, strategic trades, and free agency. We look forward to continuing that trend that will lead to even more success on the field. Great statement there from Art Rooney. I will say one thing I didn't mention or I mentioned briefly but didn't get too into it, free agency. We've also seen this team go big game hunting in free agency. One of the biggest is Patrick Queen, bringing a Baltimore Raven over to the other side of the rivalry, paying him quite the amount of bucks. That was a good signing last year, even though Queen sort of stumbled near the end of the season, which I think he was going through injuries and illness and such. That was a signing at the time where we were like, holy crap, Steelers, they never do this. But they did. Also, bringing in, trading for DK Metcalf, bringing him in and signing him to a big contract, especially at the wide receiver position. You don't see the Steelers pay receivers big contracts like that. Usually it's, we'll let you ride out your 5 years here, and then by then your 4 or 5 years here, and then by then we'll have somebody else to replace you, or we'll go to a smaller name on the market. But yeah, just stuff that we have not been used to here as Steelers fans. We've seen over the past 3-4 years. Great to see that we have a general manager who's up with the times, who knows how to build rosters, or at least has the right idea of how to build rosters in the NFL. Great to see that we are keeping a modern day football mind at the helm here, making moves like general manager Omar Khan. More here, reading the press release from the Steelers. Khan, 25th season with the Steelers, again hired as GM in 2022, spent quite a bit of time under Kevin Colbert as an assistant GM. So he's learned from one of the greatest GMs in this franchise's history, in Colbert, 2-time Super Bowl champion. And I think one of the reasons why Khan is being kept as well is because we are in a time right now in the NFL where mega contracts are getting signed right and left, and coming up under Colbert, Khan, he was the numbers guy, figuring out, all right, how can we sign this guy and keep us in a good position to then make, 2 or 3 other corresponding moves. I think he's done well with that, the number side of it. And even, going to this offseason, he's done well. Got Aaron Rodgers, one of the all-time greats in the final chapter of his career, signed him for $10 million. Got out ahead of signing Deshaun Elliott to an extension, brought in Elliott, last year, has a career year, and they extend him again at a reasonable price. Got DK Metcalf locked in. I think he's a top 20 wide receiver in the NFL. Got him locked in at a reasonable price. An extension with Pat Freiermuth was done not too long ago. I believe he's on the outskirts of top 10 in terms of payment for tight ends. Looking forward to a big year for him, especially with Aaron Rodgers. I think you're going to see Freiermuth featured more this year. Just trying to think of other ones. A TJ Watt deal's got to get done, but if I had to guess, probably over 85% that a deal's going to get done. Recent recent circumstances of Minkah Fitzpatrick getting traded away, you wonder if Watt was affected by that at all. But in return, you got Jalen Ramsey. You got him, gave him, I think, a $1.5 million pay raise this year. Brought in Jonnu Smith, who's going to be a damn good receiving tight end beside Freiermuth this year. He's immediately getting traded here, got an extra year at $12 million tacked onto his current contract. And just looking ahead as to what Khan can do, contractually wise, he can get hopefully a reasonable deal done with TJ Watt, which, by the way, I think from Andrew Filipponi at 93.7 The Fan, which, take his word for what it's worth. But apparently the Steelers rumored to feel that the Myles Garrett contract that the Browns gave out is sort of an anomaly, in that they're going to try to sign TJ to more closer to the Max Crosby deal, but we'll see how that gets resolved. If anybody's going to get it done, in my opinion, Omar Khan's going to do it. I have a feeling he can get TJ done at a reasonable price, sort of finagle, the money there to where, like, hey, technically you're the highest paid, but also, we can get out of the contract here. in a couple of years. Another one that he recently did, which looks like an absolute bargain the way he played last year, Cam Hayward. We weren't sure if he was going to re-sign here. Steelers get a deal done with him to where they paid Cam pretty handsomely last year, and boy, did he earn every single bit of that deal. But also the Steelers, they can get out of contracts. There's always, with Omar Khan making deals, feels like he's getting a bargain. The player is getting paid and they're happy about it, and there's always a backdoor to where he can get out of it at the end. Also, another thing that he can, do here, I know the Steelers just brought in Jalen Ramsey. He is on a pretty lucrative contract, I think, up until the 2028 season. I'm sure Omar, probably next off season, he's going to, sit down with Ramsey, try to get him to rework that deal, make it more favorable for the Steelers moving forward. Here's the statement itself from Omar Khan. I would like to thank Art Rooney II for his support. I believe we are building a championship roster and look forward to the 2025 season and beyond as our goals continue to bring another Super Bowl to the city of Pittsburgh and our great fans. Great stuff there from Omar Khan. Just can't be more happy about the deal. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section right now. 15 of you in here. If you are new, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like and share this video, and leave a comment in the comment section, just like Flacco did. What are your instant reactions to Omar Khan signing an extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers through the 2028 season? Trying to find more on this situation right now. Also keep being distracted. Going to be live here a little later on tonight around 5 o'clock. Some other big news popping off. Aaron Rodgers, he officially got the wide receiver group plus Pat Freiermuth out to Malibu. They're working out together. Also, a big news story today. Former Pittsburgh Pirate pitcher Luis Ortiz being investigated by the MLB. Rumors of it for illegal sports gambling. Looking more here. Not expecting, to see too much here on the Omar Khan deal. I'm sure the salary that he is going to be paid is going to be undisclosed, but a 3-year contract extension. Love seeing that from Omar. Going more into his most recent move, trading Minkah Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey. Jonnu Smith aside, looking here at the 2024 seasons between Jalen Ramsey and Minkah Fitzpatrick this year from the Standard. Ramsey last year allowed 3 touchdowns all season, had a 62% completion percentage allowed, and 83.2 passer rating allowed, had 2 INTs with 11 pass breakups, also had 1 sack and 6 tackles for loss. Meanwhile, looking the other way, Minkah, 4 touchdowns allowed, a 78.8 completion percentage allowed, a 127.6 passer rating allowed, 1 INT. Of course, I think that was at the end of the season there. 4 pass defenses, 1 tackle for loss, 1 forced fumble. Steelers won that trade. I know the Dolphins fans, I think Miami Dolphin fans, they are trying to talk themselves into winning the trade, saying, oh, the real trade is we got Minkah Fitzpatrick for Jonnu Smith, and that Ramsey, he was going to go for, a 5th round pick regardless, something like that. Even though, if it was, just Jonnu for Minkah one-on-one, are you sure you even won that trade? Because, Jonnu Smith coming off a career year, having the best season a tight end's ever had for the Miami Dolphins, trading him for a dude who had 1 interception in his last 28 games, I think that would be a win for the Steelers, even though they subtracted a key member of their defense. Also worth noting here, this will be a duo, Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan, that we will see for at least the next 2 years. We cannot forget here Ray Fittipaldo reminding everyone Mike Tomlin signed an extension last summer that will keep him as the Steelers head coach through the 2027 season, which, I think it's easy to say that Mike Tomlin's going to be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers for as long as he wants, because anything and everything Art Rooney II does usually defers to Mike for super big football decisions. Omar Khan as well. So Steelers will have this general manager, head coach duo for at least this season, plus 2 more. Stability at the top for the organization. Just going more here off the top of my head, some other trades that Omar Khan has made that really led to this extension pretty easily. Got rid of George Pickens for a 3rd round pick, which, I mean, we can debate all we want how the Pickens trade is going to work out with him down there in Dallas. I'm sure Pickens will put up some decent numbers, but when that thing turns ugly, which it inevitably will, there's no way that George Pickens is a Dallas Cowboy beyond the season. When things eventually do go sour down there in Dallas and Pickens blows up, we'll all count that as a win. Joey Porter Jr. is a Pittsburgh Steeler because the Steelers had technically 2 first-round picks. Omar Khan trading away Chase Claypool for the 32nd overall pick in the draft a couple of years ago, which Claypool, is he playing CFL football now? Something like that. Just going off of, some other trades here. The Jalen Ramsey trade, counting that as a win for the Steelers right now. You get a more versatile and more productive player, even though he's a year older and is getting paid more. Trying to think of some other ones, trying to go back in the whole Rolodex of moves Omar Khan has made, but I think it's a good deal. Back to the comments here. Pittsburgh fan 412. I love Omar. I only wish he could fire Tomlin. Not going to be Omar's move to make. That's, even though I think he could, have the ability to fire Tomlin, that is going to be Art Rooney's decision, and Art is never going to do that. So as much as everyone likes to yell, fire Tomlin, all this, it's not going to happen, folks. Tomlin, he's going to be here as long as Art wants him here. And the only way that I think you see Tomlin out of here in the next, 3 years is when his contract expires. And if Art Rooney finally decides to, I'm going to retire like the Chief, Art, I think Art 1 retired when he was around 75 years old. I want to say Rooney is 72, 73, somewhere around that mark. So he's getting around that point that his grandfather retired and, passed the team on to his son. So I could see Art 2 do that. And with that, Tomlin could go with him. Then it will be Art II's son, Danny, who, by all accounts, I think is more of a football mindset. We know Art 2 is a lawyer by trait. So he's had sort of like a secondary priority to the football team. Meanwhile, Danny, I think, is like hardcore football guy, and he'll be a more aggressive owner, or a more, forward thinking, putting the football team first owner than Art II. But that's another, topic for another day. Today, just focusing on Steelers and Omar Khan agreeing to an extension. Again, here just seeing tons of things here on social media. The Claypool for a 2nd round pick from the Bears for Joey Porter Jr. That right there back then, which I think Omar was on the job for a year at that point. I think that that trade in and of itself 2 years ago would have warranted an extension then. Seeing more stuff here. Lots of different news stories going on today. course, this Omar Khan story is taking center stage right now. We can talk about Aaron Rodgers with his new Steeler teammates working out in Malibu. Pittsburgh Penguins rookie camp officially opened up today, seeing a bunch of videos in Pittsburgh and pictures from there. Also, this Luis Ortiz story of him being investigated by the MLB. It's certainly interesting. But yeah, not too much really to talk about here on this front. It's not like we're breaking down a player here and what they've done, what they could do for the team. But, Omar Khan made quite the bit of moves in his tenure as GM. Again, I've said it on here at the beginning of the show. A forward-thinking, new age football GM for the Steelers. He has gone outside the box, taken more risks since in what now 3-4 years on the job. He has taken more risks and more creative moves than his predecessor Kevin Colbert did in 18 seasons. So that's definitely worth an extension, and for Omar to continue to see this thing out through the 2028 season, see how fruitful his decisions are. Investing first-round picks into Fautanu, Jones, Harmon, seeing how this next offseason will go, trying to find a franchise quarterback in the draft, seeing how this current season goes with Aaron Rodgers trying to follow in the footsteps of Brett Favre and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, nearly making the Super Bowl or making and winning the Super Bowl with a new team in their final seasons. Lots of intrigue, and I think it's safe to say that this offseason, the Steelers, they have been by far and will throughout the rest of the summer leading into the season be the most talked about team in the NFL. Definitely time for a new Rooney. I agree, Pittsburgh fan 412. Think another thing, why I think it's time for a new owner. Not as desperately needed for a new owner like the damn Pittsburgh Pirates, but also going back, Omar Khan, he wouldn't have had, he would have had a little bit of a say, but again, it's the owner's decision. Going back way earlier this offseason, I think closer to when the season just wrapped up, there were speculations, might have been this offseason or last offseason, that Mike Tomlin could be traded. Yeah, a rare coaching trade, and that the Chicago Bears were interested in him heavily before they hired Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator. But I think Art Rooney, he would have been the final say on that. I don't think he even listened to what the Bears had to offer. I think Tomlin, for as highly regarded as he is around the league, and with Omar, pretty fresh off the fleece of getting a second-round pick for Chase Claypool, there's no doubt in my mind that Omar Khan could have gotten a first, maybe even two for Mike Tomlin, but I don't think Art Rooney even had Omar consider doing that move. So, but yeah, more to look forward to. We're going to table Mike Tomlin discussions for another day. This is going to be the new duo for the next 2 years now. Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin, stability at the top. Let's see if we can finally break through here and find a new way of success, a new era of success here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The foundation has been pretty damn well set by Omar Khan, investing in the trenches. The defensive line looks damn good with Derek Harmon, Keanu Benton, and Cam Hayward at the front, and even, at the edge position right now. TJ Watt, we'll see if he shows up and if his contract situation gets resolved. If not, you got Nick Herbig, Alex Highsmith, and a guy who I think is going to be really slept on, Jack Sawyer, behind them, which, by the way, smart pick there by Omar Khan. I think a lot of people at the time were confused. Why the hell did we just take outside linebacker when we already got 3 in Watt, Highsmith, and Herbig? I think, Omar could have maybe, for the contract guy that he is, he's done quite a bit of contract negotiations in his managerial career. Maybe he picked Jack Sawyer as a insurance policy in case this Watt situation keeps going in the wrong direction here, which they're not on good footing from all reports from NFL insiders right now. Yeah, you got Jack Sawyer right there waiting in the wings, a national champion, leader of that Ohio State Buckeye football team. Maybe he can slide right in and be a bargain for that 4th round selection. But just talking more about Omar here. It's going to be great now that he is going to be here for the next 3 years, and that he will see out his vision thoroughly. Next year, the draft, hopefully the Steelers, they can make moves wherever they are in the order, get their franchise quarterback, and after that, it's go time. I think for the most part, everything else right now, pretty much solidified. Go position by position here. You got Aaron Rodgers for a year. That'll give you the chance to compete now, but also won't tie you to someone long-term, and you can go quarterback hunting in the next draft. Running back. Jaylen Warren there right now. He is going to be RB1 for the time being, but also I think Caleb Johnson, he has a damn good chance from all that we've seen of him in college and how we're going to predict he is going to pan out in this offensive system. Running back seems to be set for the next, 3-4 years. Go to the wide receiver position. You got a bona fide 1A receiver there in DK Metcalf. Below that, 3rd round pick from last year, who's pretty much going to be a rookie this year, Roman Wilson. Calvin Austin, I think, is a highly slept on wide receiver on this team. And then, also that sets you up next year behind Metcalf. Maybe you get a good wide receiver to pair with DK for years to come. Tight end, that's solidified, especially now with the addition of Jonnu Smith. Pat Freiermuth ain't going anywhere. Jonnu Smith coming off a career year, reuniting with Arthur Smith. Hopefully he can continue his success from last year. Also, can't forget Mount Washington, Darnell Washington. Absolute monster there. Offensive line, even though they're very young and inexperienced, there is high levels of potential there. Broderick Jones back over at his natural spot at left tackle. Hopefully he can it can sort of be like riding a bike for him, and he can be more comfortable over there at left tackle, have more success, and continue to grow at that position because, quite frankly, he is still raw as a tackle in general. Only had 12 college starts when he came out of the draft years ago. So hopefully he's settled down. Isaac Seumalo's still there, though we might be looking into replacing him here over the next year or so. Zach Frazier, easily right now, write it in Sharpie marker for all I care. Zach Frazier is going to be this team's starting center, barring some massive fall from grace for the next decade. Mason McCormick, even though he's a 5th round pick, a little worried about him, but still, though, I think he can be an absolute mauler in the run game. Just looks like an absolute mean SOB. Troy Fautanu, this team's very high on him on the offensive line at right tackle. Hopefully his injury issues are behind him and he can settle in and be a cornerstone tackle for this team. That's on the offensive side of the ball. On defense, like I said, young studs across that D line now. Cam Hayward, aging like fine wine. He can teach the young pups. Derek Harmon, who's pretty much a Cam Hayward Jr. Also, you got Keanu Benton there. Hopefully, he can continue to improve this upcoming season. Y.A. Black, I think, is going to be a good hit for a 5th-round pick. Big, massive guy there. Outside linebacker, T.J. Watt. Maybe you lock him up long-term here as one of your key pieces. And, behind him, Alex Highsmith, he's not going anywhere, just signed a very reasonable extension. Nick Herbig, probably one of the best outside linebackers. That's not a starter in this league. He would be a starter on half of the other teams in the NFL, and then Jack Sawyer behind that for run defense. Linebacker, pretty locked up for the next couple of years. Not only the Patrick Queen signing, but also drafting Peyton Wilson out of NC State. I think he is going to be going to take a big step this year. Also, welcome back Cole Holcomb as well, who was kind of Omar Khan's first big free agent signing, if I remember correctly. Corner, Joey Porter Jr. still got some, trying to remember here. Joey Porter Jr. down year last year, but hopefully learning under Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay, two of the best over the past 10 years in the NFL. JPJ can become a island over there. And in the safety position, even though you just shipped out Minkah Fitzpatrick, you got Deshaun Elliott, who had a career year, Juan Thornhill, who I think is a bounce-back candidate. Also, I think, lots of people freaking out about safety. Keep an eye on Sebastian Castro out of Iowa. I'm telling you. Pretty much a bunch of these positions, at least at the top. Depth can be, questions at some spots, but starters at all positions, for the most part, have been locked up for the foreseeable future. Good job on Omar Khan building a solid foundation for this team and giving a solid nest for this young little birdie, a starting quarterback, franchise quarterback, hopefully, in the next year draft. Laid a nice foundation, a nice nest for that quarterback to come into. Back to the comment section one more time, talking about Omar Khan's 3-year extension beyond this year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He will be GM of the Black and Gold through 2028. Back here, Pittsburgh fan 412, is TJ asking for 5 years? Is that a sticking point? I don't know if it's the years. I'm sure that could be a part of it. I think it's the money, because Watt, his agent, and I think his brother JJ is also in his ear about it. This is going to be TJ's last time, really, of getting a massive bag of money. He's 31 now, 30, 31, something like that. So this is his last chance. Still relatively in the prime of his career. I know a down season last year by his standards, but still, though, he feels he's got a lot of good football left in him. This is his last chance getting a big payday, and unlike 2022 when an extension first got done with him, and we all remember that story, him pushing aside his agent, making $21 million a year, just saying, hey, let's get this done, I want to play ball. This is him for the last time in his career saying, I have an opportunity here to get generational wealth, and damn it, for all I've done for this franchise, for the type of player I am, I think I should be the highest defensive player in football, make more than Myles Garrett. So I think that's more a holding point than anything here. I think the Steelers, they have one number in their mind. I'm sure a hell of a pay raise, probably, below Myles Garrett, but above Max Crosby. TJ wants to be the highest paid out there. I think that's more of a sticking point, and I still think there's hope that this will get resolved probably right before the first game of the regular season. We might see a storyline play out where things get a little bit uglier before they get better. TJ no-shows training camp at St. Vincent, all that, but hopefully something does get done here 5 years, though they're a Pittsburgh fan. I like to think the Steelers, they would want to do 3 or 4 max. Also, Omar still got a lot of work to do there. Probably will be, if it is a 5-year deal, they're a Pittsburgh fan. I'd like to think that it will be a 5-year deal on paper, but in reality, it'll be a 2, maybe 3-year deal with a backdoor talking about little to no guarantees left to where the Steelers can get out of it if injuries and his play continue to get worse into his mid 30 years. Didn't Elon show interest in owning the Steelers? LMAO, I saw it somewhere. I don't know if Elon had legitimate interest. Kind of, it would be like really weird seeing Elon own a professional sports team. This doesn't seem like something he would be. I'm sure he could do it. I mean, Elon Musk, he could buy really anything he wants, but in terms of being an owner of a sports team, doesn't it seem like Elon's the type of guy where, oh, I forgot I own the Pittsburgh Steelers? It'd be something like on the very much back burner for him, like he wouldn't care as much. I don't know. I doubt Rooney's going to sell. I think this is a family business. The Steelers, they are a family business above all here. Having a franchise owned by one family for this long, it is very rare, extremely rare. I think the Steelers are the only team that's had the team strictly owned by the family for this long. Went from the Chief to Dan to Art the second to now, hopefully here in a couple of years, Danny, the second Dan. So I don't think a sale, no matter what money comes, is going to convince Art 2 to sell. That would be the years holding up on a contract. I think it's, it might be up to 5 years, but there's going to be definitely an out somewhere there in that contract where the Steelers can get off the hook. That seems to be an Omar Khan specialty. Getting, a swap of late round draft picks and trades. That's one easily predictable thing with Omar Khan. He hates having less than 7 draft picks in a year. And also, creating contracts to where it's fair for both the player and team in the time, in that, 2 years, 3 years down the road, the team can get out of it without, getting pinched in the butt too much. That's all I'm saying. I saw it. Just can't remember. Probably IG. About the Elon thing. Back here. High hopes for Castro. Yes, Sebastian Castro. When I did my 3 days of live streaming for the NFL draft, I did profiles on pretty much. I think I did profiles on over 200 prospects. I want to say 260 prospects. I did a little bit of work on Castro. I think he was in my top 10 for safeties. How the hell he went undrafted beats me. I think it was the speed was an issue. But the fact that he went undrafted shocked me, and the fact that the Steelers picked him up, I think, was probably my favorite undrafted signing free agent of all time. I liked it more than picking up Beanie Bishop last year. You're talking about a guy there, Castro, who plays a pretty similar style to Minkah Fitzpatrick. If he plays like how he did at Iowa, the speed isn't going to, flash. He's sort of going to be like unorthodox, but if you can have him be, at least half of what Minkah was, you're not going to miss Fitzpatrick too much here. If Castro can step up like that. There's also still the chance that the Steelers do end up bringing in another safety anyways. We talked about it when the trade went down. Jordan Whitehead, Pitt product, is out there. Marcus Williams, I think, is still a free agent, former Raven. Justin Simmons is the top one out there. I see a lot of Steelers fans saying, go get Justin Simmons. Yeah, I can live with him, but we'll see. DeMar Hamlin, he was at the Pittsburgh Pirate game a couple of nights ago. talk about Pitt products, maybe bringing them back to the city of Pittsburgh. Wouldn't be upset bringing DeMar Hamlin back right now. I think somewhere $42 million for 3 years would be fair. $42 million per year. I could do that. Yeah, absolutely, because 3 years I think is going to be right around the ballpark where this extension will be. Steelers won't tie themselves to TJ too long. He'll get his wish of making more than Myles Garrett, even if it's for just a year or two. Everyone wins in that scenario. And then TJ, if he feels that, I think 3 years, that would be perfect for, a couple of reasons. Steelers then for this year with Aaron Rodgers, and then for the first 2 years of hopefully a young quarterback coming in here and, getting this team to compete. That will keep Watt here, one of your key defensive players. Also, that gives everyone an opening. They're not tying themselves together for too long. TJ, if things continue to go the same direction here in Pittsburgh, where he wants to go to a new team, go ring chasing per se, that will give him the opportunity to do that. Also, the Steelers, if they feel Watt, kind of like Minkah Fitzpatrick, if he isn't performing up to the amount of money they're going to give him, they can, ship him off somewhere. And last thing here on this, why a 3-year deal would be optimal here. TJ's brother, retired at a fairly early age. Who knows if TJ's going to, do the same. Say, I don't want to be an old man player in the NFL. I'm going to retire before 35 or at 35, call it a career there, and just take my money and go home. That way the Steelers, they didn't sign him to some long contract, and he bails, calls it a career on the first year or the first, year 2 or 3 of that 5-year deal. They're just offering 3 years. I don't know. If I had to guess, that probably would be around that part, maybe 4 years. And then the Steelers can, get out of it after 2 years, something like that. Hard for me to predict it would be a 5-year deal. But we'll see. I mean, it's you kind of would think it would be a, 3-4 year deal, because already we've heard from both sides that they want to be Steelers for the rest of their career, and that someone said, might have been TJ, going back to the Steelers locker room cleanouts, says he wants to retire a Steeler. Well, bringing that up, you want to retire a Steeler. I know that's like a cliche saying, but that means kind of already get a feeling off of that sentence alone that he's not going to be around, playing into his late 30s. Corey Beavers in the chat. Welcome, Corey. They keep paying everyone but TJ. This is ridiculous. Set him free if you're not going to pay him this weekend. This silly push and pull, it's stupid. Y'all either all in, no question, or you're not. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the reason why TJ is upset, because he's seeing the Steelers bring in DK Metcalf, make him the highest paid player on the team. Saw them court for months, court Aaron Rodgers, bringing him in. TJ might be a little upset, that he, for all he's done for the organization, that he wasn't, priority one. And this even goes back not just this offseason, but to last offseason, when he still had 2 years left on his deal, saying, I think JJ on the Pat McAfee show said that Steelers might want to get out in front of this, break tradition of waiting to extend a player this one time. You'll get TJ on a friendlier deal, but that didn't happen. So, yeah, keep everyone but TJ, keep paying everyone but TJ. Thinks that's them, just getting some other things in order, because they know a deal is eventually going to get, done with TJ. Besides now, TJ and them waiting, I think that's just as much on TJ waiting to get a deal done as it is them. Because TJ now, I'm sure he's got his brother and his agent in his ear saying, wait till Micah gets done. Wait till, Trey Hendrickson gets done, and then we'll get something done. So this is going to be something that they wait out for a while up until at the earliest, week before or week of game 1 of the regular season. We'll see. Who would you want for Watt? Well, from everything we've heard from insiders about what a potential Watt deal or trade could look like, they're saying, I've heard some people say, oh, at most you're going to get a second round pick. I've also heard others say, like, you can probably get a first and a second. I kind of want to see what Jack Sawyer brings, but see, that's hard for me. If they were to get, trade away TJ, which, by the way, if that ever comes, it would not shock me. Nothing shocks me anymore after, the Pickens for Metcalf trade, the Rodgers signing, the Minka for Ramsey trade. I think anything is possible now, especially with Omar Khan. I'm asking for a first. I have to, and I can't move off of that. The only way I move off of getting a first round pick for Watt is if you get a second plus a high draft pick that team is willing to part ways with. Like, I think I heard someone say, what if they ship him to the Eagles, they get back, who is it, Smith, their linebacker that they drafted late in the first round. Can't remember his first name, but he was a first round pick. Get Smith in a second for him. Probably doing that deal at that point. But right now, I'm not moving off of a first round pick for Watt, especially because whatever team trades for him, they're going to sign him to an extension immediately after that. Flacco, I don't know who we would get in return, but do what's right by him. And if it's creating drama for the team and becoming a distraction, then get another first round pick for him, or call it even, or trade wide receiver. It's another thing too, or trade wide receiver there, Corey. Saw someone, it's not so crazy of an idea. The Washington Commanders, they could use some help on defense. The Steelers, they can use another wide receiver. What about TJ Watt for Terry McLaurin? Doubt you get a straight up deal done for that, but maybe it's a pick swap in that deal as well. McLaurin for Watt. The Commanders say they get a second round pick. The Steelers get a third or a fourth back in that deal because they're getting the younger, better player, in my opinion, in McLaurin. I do that deal. Give McLaurin some money because, the league right now, it's in such an offensive period. You're going to win with offense more than you do defense. So lots of interesting, hypotheticals we can get into, but still think more than likely a Watt deal is going to get done here sooner or later rather than sooner. But I mean, I don't want to lose Watt at all, but it's tough to find a trade that would satisfy me unless it's a 2 or a 1. Yeah, exactly. Waddle and Minka for TJ and a third. Maybe bring Minka back just like that. TJ for Waddle. I don't see where the I'm sure the Dolphins, just like the Commanders who I just talked about, they could use help on defense as well in any way that they can get it after losing, Christian Wilkins and Javon Holland over the past 2 off seasons. But Watt for Waddle, that entices me. I have to think about that. A third trade between the Steelers and the damn Dolphins would be crazy. I'm going to just call you THP the third. Welcome. When the Steelers fire a guy who hasn't won a playoff game in 8 years, when will they? That answer, pretty simple one, never. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. That's at least worth something here in Pittsburgh. A lot of people hate hearing that, but also he's a man with no pressure, at least from the top. Rooney II loves him from pretty much all accounts. If this wasn't the case, then Omar Khan wouldn't have gotten extended. Khan loves working with him. Firing of Mike Tomlin, it would have to be catastrophic, something catastrophic for that to happen, which, never. I got a better chance of doing a, backflip out of this window above my computer here, from the second story of this house. I got a better chance of doing a backflip out of this window and landing on the ground and being able to get up and walk afterwards than Tomlin getting fired before his contract expires. Looking more here, scrolling through Twitter, some more here. What has Omar Khan's best move as Steelers GM, draft, free agency, trade, anything has been? Draft. I like the Derek Harmon pick. He blocked out the noise of drafting Shadur Sanders there. I like that pick a lot, but in terms of getting value for a draft pick, Zach Frazier in the second round, that one's up there. Getting Joey Porter Jr., 32 overall, which I guess you can technically count that as, his best trade as well. Picking up Peyton Wilson in the third round. I don't think a linebacker of note was taken up until that point. Peyton Wilson, picking him up in the late third round. That was a hell of a draft pick there. Also, depending on, how it plays out, and everyone wants to hype this kid up. I'm going to put little expectations on, but damn, I'm getting the bug too. Using a sixth-round pick on Will Howard, that's got to be up there. Bringing in the national championship winning quarterback who, had a okay season last year with the Buckeyes, but then when the lights got brightest, he didn't, falter at all. And he just kept on getting better and better throughout that national championship run for Ohio State. Using a sixth-round pick on that, that's pretty good. Trade has to be the Claypool trade. Free agent signing. I guess really the only one of note. Do you count DK Metcalf as a free agent signing, even though it was a trade and sign? Has to be Patrick Queen, right? Bringing in one of the better players on your rival's defense, having him switch sides in the rivalry on a pretty damn, good contract. I like that signing. Favorite, draft pick, free agent, and trade probably will be the next one, because it seems like Omar keeps getting better and better with this stuff. Also, the Deshaun Watson signing, too. That's also a good free agent signing. I'm going to probably put that one slightly above the Patrick Queen signing right now. Almost forgot about that one. Got some big news here in the hockey world. Nikolai Ehlers, forward of the Winnipeg Jets, he is signing with the Carolina Hurricanes today. Or there's a good chance. That from Kevin Weeks. He's not signing officially, but that's a good chance. There it is. A 6-year deal. It is official now. A 6-year deal with Carolina, an $8.5 million AAV. Damn. Okay, looking here more. Great day today. Omar Khan, Steelers GM for the next 3 years now. So, all right, 28 of you in here right now. I appreciate it. Appreciate you all for joining me here for this breaking news. Omar Khan signing an extension to remain the Steelers GM. Going to talk about a couple more comments here. Miami needs more secondary help than anything. Yeah, they have no corners, especially now that they got rid of Ramsey. But it looks like they're blowing it up. Easy to fleece TJ in this year's third for a 2026 first and a 2027 second. Kind of have that, same feeling about the Pittsburgh Penguins. Heading into next year's drafts for hockey and football, the more multiple first-round picks that you can get, the better, in my opinion. If the Penguins can somehow get an extra first-round pick and that team is a lottery pick, have 2 chances at getting Gavin McKenna. Love that. If the Steelers can get an extra, first or second round pick between now and next year's draft in Pittsburgh, to where they could trade up and get a QB, I'm all for it. And 2027 7th on that. I do see that. Steelers are in no man's land, in my opinion. Are they better than the Bengals? Ravens are number 1. Better than the Bengals in terms of they actually have a defense, and the offense is going to be better. I think a good defense and an offense, even, you're still missing a wide receiver, but you added Rodgers, who he's going to be more efficient even at age 42 than Russell Wilson was, and Justin Fields. You've also brought in Jonnu Smith, DK Metcalf. He's going to be consistently better than George Pickens, in my opinion. I think the offense is going to be better. Then it's going to keep the offense on the field longer, give the defense extra time off. I will say that they are better than the Bengals, because the Bengals, they have no one on defense. No one. Cornerback room, it's meh. Their defensive line, hell, it's their 2 defensive linemen, their first round pick, Shamar Stewart. He's doing whatever the hell he's doing. Doesn't want to sign a deal, his rookie deal. Probably could, re-enter the draft next year. That'd be hilarious. And they paid all that money to Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. That Trey Hendrickson, he's still waiting for a deal. We'll see if he ever gets it. They have no defense. Nothing. And the Steelers, the defense, can lock down that offense just for a little bit in the game. The offense will have a field day against the Bengals defense. I have a feeling Rodgers, he might have like a 4 or 5 TD passing touchdown game against the Bengals at some point this upcoming season. Yeah, Deshaun Elliott, that signing, probably Omar's best. I'm a Cowboys fan, but Steelers are a good QB away, which sucks. Yeah, that's a rivalry testing that will test the length of time right there. I will say, have fun with the George Pickens experience. 1 week, he's going to make the most indescribable, breathtaking catch you've ever seen. And then next year, he'll probably, walk out onto the field wearing a hoodie instead of his jersey, because he's upset that he didn't get, that he got 2 targets instead of 3 the week before. So have fun with that George Pickens experience. I want a quarterback in the draft. Omar Khan doesn't know how to draft a quarterback in the first round. When did Omar Khan draft a quarterback in the first round? Because Kenny Pickett, that was Kevin Colbert's decision. That wasn't Omar Khan's decision. As a matter of fact, that was Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin's decision. If you want to have an issue with the Steelers, being a little worrisome about them drafting a first-round quarterback, you need to question Tomlin more than you do Omar Khan. Do not get that one. Do not get that one at all there. I will say, though, even, you wanted the Steelers to trade up into the top 10 and go get Bo Nix last year, then you wouldn't have had Trey Fautanu, who I still have high hopes for as a tackle. And there was no quarterback this year to draft. Next year is supposedly going to be another strong class. Just going off the top of my head, Drew Aller, Cade Klubnik, Lenoris Sellers, Sam Levitt, I think, is another quarterback. I highly doubt that Arch Manning's going to enter into the draft, but that will be another good prospect in there. Let's pump the brakes. Let's wait until Omar Khan actually makes a first-round quarterback selection before we go all in. Oof, I don't know if Khan is the guy, to be honest. Why is everybody doubting this? All of a sudden, we have 2 people here who have completely did a 180. Yes, Gavin McKenna, too, I'm talking about for hockey. I will commit unspeakable things to have Gavin McKenna on the Pittsburgh Penguins next year. Are we draft quarterback in the next first round since it will be in Pittsburgh next year? Well, that's part of it. I'm sure, even though they won't say that part out loud, I guarantee you that in that building, they would like to make a splashy first round quarterback selection in their own city. I'm sure that's a small part of it, but also because it's a better class. I mean, Cam Ward, I think, would be the third or fourth quarterback in next year's draft class, and he went first overall this past draft. I think I would put Drew Aller, just in terms of, athleticism alone, and Arch Manning, if he comes out just because of the pedigree. I put both of those guys ahead of Cam Ward if Cam Ward was to go in next year's draft class. And who knows? You got a whole college football season to watch. Maybe that opinion will change. This whole quarterback situation could change, but at least the Steelers, they are setting themselves up in position with the right general manager, I think, to do this stuff. Omar, over the past 3 years, he's purged all the bad picks that Kevin Colbert, his predecessor, has made, and he's brought in, I think, a pretty, high potential still crop of talent over the past 3 drafts. I know we're now entering into a make or break situation with his first round pick in Broderick Jones, finally moving back over to the left side of the line. But his other first round picks, Troy Fautanu, was hurt last year, so you can't really evaluate him. You're still going to treat him pretty much as a rookie. And even, the snaps and stuff he was in there, he looked pretty well. And then Derek Carman this year, Cam Hayward 2.0 is all we've been hearing. Would love to see, more and more. Would love to see how he fares in the NFL. I'm excited over Cloud9 for that pick. I do like the tight end acquisition. Yes, I do as well. Jonnu Smith, hell of a pick up there. Rodgers can at least throw to the middle of the field. Exactly. That immediately will make this offense better compared to Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Still got the arm. Might not have the mobility, but the arm and the mind like a steel trap is still there for Aaron Rodgers. Jonnu Smith will be good in my opinion. That was a good pickup. Absolutely. Get a guy for, even if you just count the Minka and Jalen Ramsey 1-for-1, getting Jonnu Smith for a pick swap. I don't even remember. They got a 5th. They got a 7th. Jonnu Smith would have been the leader in touchdown receptions on the Steelers last year. You got that for a 5th round pick. I know people can still, cry foul about not having a wide receiver too, but at this point, a pass catcher is a pass catcher. And when you bring in a dude who was booked for 8 touchdowns last year, I'm taking that all day for a 5th round pick. George, I didn't want beggars can't be choosers. But I think GP will go for 79 to 13,000 yards and 9 TDs. Pickens, keeping him on the straight and narrow for an entire year when he is clearly going to be second fiddle to CeeDee Lamb. That's going to be a challenge. I have no doubt. I'm going to say right now, barring some massive blow up where he doesn't even play the entire season as a Cowboy, Pickens, he will get his production. It's when Dak Prescott goes back to his old bread and butter time and time again, like CeeDee Lamb, that is when you'll see Pickens lose his mind. He could put up that, but I don't think you guys are going to keep him beyond this year. Arch Manning, yes. Arch Manning, Drew Aller, if he can, develop more of a clutch gene, I will take him. Arch is staying, yeah, there's no way. And that's, another fallback thing. If the Steelers can, let's say that they don't get the quarterback that they want in this draft, you don't think Omar Khan, he'll be planning steps ahead, getting another first round pick, possibly for TJ Watt in the 2027 draft to get Manning? 4+ years. Yeah. I don't know if that's both Eli and Peyton both stayed. Cooper said as much. Arch isn't declaring early. Yeah. They want him to develop. It'd be crazy, though. Him off of 1 year of starting, will boom, go to the NFL. He's going to stay. He's going to develop, which he's got a lot to prove on, my opinion. Do we move Ramsey to safety? There is some reports that Ramsey will play a little bit of safety. Mark Caboli, I think Steelers correspondent for the Pat McAfee show, said that Ramsey is going to play a little bit of safety. He's pretty much exclusively going to be a slot corner to start out, which 10 times the upgrade over Beanie Bishop and or Brandon Eccles right there. But that's the thing, why another reason why I call the Minkah for Ramsey trade a win for the Steelers, because what does Minkah do that Ramsey can't, in my opinion? Minkah, for most of his time in recent years, has been playing deep center field, not a part of the play at all. Occasionally, he'll come up to, in the box, try to stuff the runner, get to the backfield, make a tackle for loss. Meanwhile, Ramsey, he does all that, plays the slot, safety, and outside, three-tool player there. 6'1", got some decent weight on him. He's a tackler as well. Even though he's, a year or two or older, he can do what Minkah did last year, which is a low bar to clear in the first place, plus more on this defense. So, yeah, Ramsey will play safety. I wonder if Darius Slay can, bump back there at all as well. I have no idea if he can or not. If so, having Slay back there on occasions as well, that'd be good. Also, having Ramsey play safety, potentially having Slay play safety, have Ramsey bouncing all around, that will bring some much needed unpredictability to this Steelers defense. Because, for the past couple seasons, it's been predictable like that. Oh, yeah, typical Steelers defense. DJ Watt's over here. Alex Highsmith is over here. They're only going to rush 4. They don't blitz anymore. Minkah Fitzpatrick is 70 yards downfield, which, if you're watching the TV copy of a game, he's not even in the freaking picture frame when the play begins. So, yeah, Ramsey, he's going to be a better version of Minkah, in my opinion. Going to play all around, bring some unpredictability to this defense, and also he's got a low bar to clear in terms of outproducing what Minkah did here over the past couple of seasons. And I don't mean, to be that rude to Minkah, because stand-up dude, perfect team, or a perfect, embodiment of what a Steeler should be. Fortunately, production just completely fell off the table. Do you think Drew Aller is better than Arch? I don't see number one from either. Better athlete. That's pretty, undeniable. It's just, can he deliver in the biggest moments, which is kind of like problem with his head coach, James Franklin. I think one play that really sticks with me, and sticks with a lot of people, and rightfully so, that interception he threw in the semifinals, on heading to the national championship that he threw against Notre Dame. He's got the athleticism. Got a Josh Allen build to him, kind of like what the Steelers have right now in Will Howard, which is why I'm hoping he somehow, some way finds his way onto the field and pans out. But is Drew better than Arch athleticism-wise? Probably yes. But as a football player, gonna table that for at least give me a full year to watch Arch Manning before I say one's better than the other. Number one overall pick out of them. Maybe they're not, but quarterback, it's a position that gets highly inflated in terms of value. So we'll see how that plays out down the road. Steelers are a big run first team. Who's running the ball, and is the line above average? All right, let me attack this here one after the other. Steelers, they are a big run first team. Yes, you got Darnell Washington, Jalen Warren. He plays a style of football well above his height and weight. I think that's one of my favorite descriptors of all time from Mike Tomlin. Jalen, he's short, not small, because he is built like a brick you-know-what house, just, around my height. And also you got Caleb Johnson, who's going to be, I think, people like to attach immediately after the draft that, oh, Caleb Johnson is just another Najee Harris. He is not. He played in a zone run system at Iowa, just like what Arthur Smith wants to run here. He's also got much more explosiveness in moves like a dude half his size, unlike Najee did. Najee was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Let me run through a guy. Caleb Johnson, and he said so himself, I can run like Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook. He will either run a dude over or he can, juke around people as well. Who's running the football? Who cares? Honestly. Got Caleb Johnson, who I just described, Jalen Warren, who's who plays a similar style and runs like a dude who's twice his size. And also, underrated pickup, Kenneth Gainwell. Steelers brought him in on a 1 or 2 year deal, not paying him a bunch of money. Sure, he's going to be a special team return guy, but you bring in Kenneth Gainwell as a guy who can, touch the ball on offense anywhere from, 5 to 8 times a game, depending on how they divvy out the snaps. Yeah, that's going to be a lethal running attack, much better than they were last year. Offensive line, that's the only question. Is the line above average? I'm not going to put them, above average until maybe halfway through the season. I'm honestly going to be gracious enough to put them at average right now. They're just young and inexperienced. You got a third-year guy in Broderick Jones, which it's already a make-or-break year for him. You got to make a decision on his fifth-year option after this year. He's finally playing left tackle where he only played there and started there, 12 times in college. Isaac Seumalo, he's been sturdy for most of his time here as a Steeler, but, he's getting a year older. Final year of his contract, at least he'll be playing for another bag. Zach Frazier, I think it's safe to say year 2, hopefully with injury issues. Injuries no longer an issue. He's going to be the guy who I have the most confidence in that lineup. Mason McCormick, 5th round pick, got put into the starting role just like that because James Daniels got injured last year. Have no idea how he's going to look in year 2. And Troy Fautano was injured for most of last year. No idea what he's going to look like either. Lots of questions on that line, but hopefully if they can just be average, I think that running game is going to be much better. Fitzpatrick was a ball hawk in 2019 through 2022. Yeah, but what was that last year there, 2022? 3 years ago now. Since then, I think it's both by himself and the Steelers. That's why he's no longer here. I'm sure he lost a step as a player. And also, from little whisperings I've seen, would tend to go rogue on plays, thinking he can make a play like he did when he was younger but couldn't. And also the Steelers didn't use him right schematically. He was a ball hawk. Fortunately, that ended 3 years ago. Najee ran slow, it seemed. Loved that guy, but he didn't make plays. Yeah, exactly. How many points do you expect to average? If it's 24, they'll win 10 games. I'm at least putting it at 24 with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, maybe, you're getting one of the best passers of the football all time. If you can have a running game better than what he had in New York, I think that takes a lot of pressure off him. And he's also going to put the ball on the money more times than not, have better numbers passing than Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, I think. Still love Najee, I do too, because he loved playing for us. Always wish God on him. Absolutely there, Flacco. They said Minka was looking great this offseason. Yeah, but, was the interception he had in the final game of the year going to be all of a sudden the breaking of the dam? And he was going to turn back into old Mink? There we go. Are we back? There you go. Sorry about that. My computer cut out on me there for a second. But yeah, back to what you were saying, Flacco, is Minka gonna turn into the Minka of old? I doubt it. Also, yeah, wish love on Najee, but also I think the writing was on the wall, especially after this upcoming season. Even if he had a good season, I still think he would have, gone where he did. He was gonna definitely go back out west, closer to family. He's in prime, but I'd take a cornerback and tight end for that deal. Yeah, over Minka, absolutely. Two players are always valued, uh, even if it's slightly more than one. Caleb Johnson is going to be a baller this year. Oh my God, yes he is. I I am over the moon excited about Derek Harmon, but he's probably the guy that I am like on the edge of my seat, ready to see how he plays more than anyone in this draft class. He was number 5. I remember him exactly. Caleb Johnson. He was the number 5 running back in my rankings, behind Genty, of course, Hampton, of course, and the 2 Ohio State guys, Henderson and Judkins. How he was there, like I thought for sure, okay, he's going second round, if not early third round. Steelers at pick 83, they're not going to have a chance. I just watched him kept falling and falling. I'm like, this is a slam dunk. Go right now, run to the podium, get him. So, yeah. What was crazy was seeing Johnson. He went to 83. Didn't the Broncos take RJ Harvey out of UCF over him? That was, yeah. I was shocked at that. I'm like, I'm sprinting to the podium. Speak about GP. Is he elite talent that you can see it being great, or a DB that could, but won't, if you get my question? GP does have elite talent. He's kind of like, I would say, a fair share of Steelers wide receivers that have come across this organization in recent years. Talk about Deontay Johnson, Deontay Johnson, Antonio Brown, which I'm going to omit Antonio a little bit because sure, he had his off the field issues, but on the field, he was an absolute workhorse. GP, like a bunch of wide receivers that have come through this organization, has the talent, has the athleticism to do so. I'll even throw Chase Claypool in here, even though he completely fell off the cliff. $1 million body and athleticism, but 10-cent brain and work ethic. So if you can, get him to lock in for a year, then yeah, you'll get good production from him. It's just a matter of keeping him on the straight and narrow. One thing that continually sticks in my mind, I heard this a couple months ago on 93.7 The Fan. When George Pickens came out of the draft, one of the scouts at the time, who the Steelers asked, or I'm not sure if the Steelers asked the scout anything about Pickens, but one of the scouts, or undisclosed team officials from one of the NFL teams, said George Pickens, throughout his entire life, entitled is not the word, but he has been, what was the word that they used? It wasn't entitled, enabled. George Pickens has been enabled his whole life to where, because he feels he is better athletically than everyone else on the field, which, most times he is, that then he doesn't need to have the work ethic or the, good character to follow up on it. He thinks that, he's going to just automatically go out there, put up 100 yards and 2 touchdowns every game, when he hasn't been close to doing it, because he actually needs to have the work ethic and the, team mentality, actual, this is a team, to make that work. So I think the Cowboys, this is going to be I'm saying it again, this is going to be either a massive blow up in productivity, and he's going to have probably one of the best years of his entire career, however long his career will be, or it is going to be the Hindenburg. Is that the name of the blimp that blew up and caught on fire? the Hindenburg, something like that. It's going to be one or the other. Hell, it could be both. GP could have the production, but also just letting you know, it's going to be inevitable that a relationship with that big of a media market, because GP, he ain't shy of speaking his mind to the to reporters, or sending, subtle but not so subtle messages of irritation, blocking or taking stuff off his social medias, posting cryptic comments. He's going from this football town to even a more, in the spotlight football organization. It's going to be good, but I have a more better feeling that it's going to get ugly. That's my fear as Cowboys fan. I think we'll pay him and he'll just be above average. Let's be honest, who fights in games, college, etc.? Who walks off while in a play is going on? Question mark, a bum. He's not a fighter. Yeah, I mean, let's just go over it. All the hits of his career. Fought some dude in college at Georgia Tech as a Steeler. The most damning one, and the one that, sent him on his way, 2 instances on Christmas last year, was coming off I believe a hamstring injury, Pickens was, or a groin injury, one of those two. He was coming off injury, needed to get worked out pre-game. Pickens then showed up 20 minutes before kickoff, didn't get checked out or anything, went out there, and on one of the rare occasions during that game against the Chiefs, in which the Steelers were, beginning to drive down the field and were getting close to scoring, he ran the wrong route and it resulted in an interception. So, yeah. I'm going to be on here forever talking about Pickens. There's other stuff as well. Social media, spats, immediately denies those. Trying to fight fans. Another fight with, I believe, Greg Newsome of the Browns. I could be on here for 3 more hours just talking about Pickens with you. So I appreciate all the comments and the questions, but yeah, Pickens is too much. All I'm going to say, enjoy the full George Pickens experience. He'll look like one of the best wide receivers you've ever seen, and you'll get your hopes up that, oh my God, Pickens and Lamb is going to be the best NFL connection for the next, 5 years. And then the next, you'll think, oh my God, get this dude off my team. What the hell is he doing here? What the hell is he doing off the field? All that. Which I will specify off the field stuff. That's more in the locker room. It's not like he's going out into society and is going to be in the news, for heinous, criminal-like stuff. He doesn't do that. That's the bright spot about him. It's all strictly in the football sense, the football environment, that he's a head case and a distraction. I went to Caleb Johnson in the first round. I did too. Caleb Johnson was probably, I kind of did, when I did my rankings for the draft, ordered them like, okay, how do I do my rankings? Do I do more like these are the top prospects, or do I order them like these are the top guys who I think fit the Steelers? I kind of like tried to find a middle area there, but Caleb Johnson, he was in every single, no matter which way you put it, whether, is he a good prospect or is he a good fit for the Steelers? He was every bit worthy of a top 5 running back in the class in both cases. I say that nicely, but man, optimism will shrink soon. What do you expect from DK, etc.? Rodgers, 250 plus. DK, think he'll have a similar year of production to Pickens, maybe a little bit better. But then again, the Steelers, even with adding Jonnu Smith, it depends on how well, Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers will use the tight end. He'll be in a similar situation to GP last year where, he's the lone wide receiver. Teams are going to be shading a safety over to his side of the field, which, why wouldn't you, regardless? 6'4", 230-pound wide receiver. Dude's an absolute Wolverine playing wide receiver. So I expect good things from him. I also expect, a slightly better version of Aaron Rodgers than what we saw from him in New York. Maybe throws a couple more touchdown passes. Maybe throws one or two, maybe three less interceptions. Hopefully get closer back to the old four-time MVP Aaron Rodgers than what we saw for 2 years. Oh, really, a year and 4 snaps in New York. I'm excited. What are new uniforms with the yellow helmets this year? I don't know. I'm excited. Maybe it's the yellow helmets with like the color rush top, and then maybe like I don't know, like sort of like a white pant bottom. I don't know. I got the helmet right there. There it is in the background there. I love that. I got that down in Ocean City, Maryland. Hell of a salesman gave me a deal on that one. But yeah, I'm excited to see those back on the field. Bring back the bumblebees. I have no idea whether that's a popular opinion or not, but that'd be hilarious. Still need a wide receiver. Yeah. If we are getting a wide receiver, I think you will see the wide receiver more of like a Gabe Davis or an Alan Lazard, more like a guy who is shading the area between a 2 or a 3. I don't think you're going to see, a top guy like signing an Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen or, trading for some high profile guy, because now you got Jonnu Smith, who's, take away the tight end. He's just a pass catcher in general and a damn good one. So I don't think you need, some superstar solidified wide receiver 2 guy. If you can have a 3-man rotation at WR2 with Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, and say like a Gabe Davis, I'll take that. I bet Smith gets 800 plus. Talking about for DK out of Smith's system. I don't know. We are still looking for a new wide receiver. Yep. Need to bring back the Bumblebee jerseys with the yellow helmets. I'd be sick. I'd be cool with that. Bumblebee jerseys were definitely the most flamboyant. Okay, doing a quick stroll here through Twitter. Been on here for about an hour and a half now talking Omar Khan's extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Going to, instead of, logging off of here in a couple minutes and then, going live an hour from now, just going to break down the little bit of news that is also going on related to some of the other Pittsburgh sports teams. Penguins rookie or prospect development camp, I'm just calling it rookie camp, that officially began today. 3 teams took the ice at different practice intervals for the Penguins. I have the list here. Team 1, Team Stevens here. Just going through some of the names. Quinn Buchanan, Melvin Fernstrom, one of the Penn's top prospects, Swedish kid, said today he's going to go back over to the Swedish Hockey League, so he will not be in the NHL this year. Tanner Howe, 2nd-round pick from last year. Peyton Kettles, 6'6" D-man from this year, 2nd-round pick. Like that pickup. Ryan Miller, Emil Pianiemi, one of the Penn's top defensive prospects, and Bill Zonin, one of their 1st-round picks out of 3 this year. Team 2, Team Patrick at Penguins development camp. Harrison Brunick, probably the Penn's top prospect overall defenseman. He's on that team. Says that he wants to make the team out of camp this year, that he wants to be on the team to start the year, the NHL team that is. Hopefully he does. Cale Dock, Penn State commit, is on team 2. That Daigle goalie is also there. The second of the 2 Hayes brothers, forget his name, Tanner Hayes, maybe, something like that. Ben Kindle, the Penn's first-round pick this year, was also on team 2. Brady Peddle, Chase Piatilla, Charlie Trethaway, those nice prospects. 2 of those were picks this year, are also on Team 2. Team 3, Team Johnston. This is where I didn't see, too many noticeable names. Sam Turan, draft pick this year, was there. Finn Harding, decent prospect defenseman. Will Horkoff, the third of the 3 first-round picks the Pens had this year, was also on that team. Also, Cruz Lucius, that Tulk kid, forget his first name. He was on a line with Ben Kindle and Tanner Howe in juniors. And the last one here on Team 3 that I will keep an eye on, Mikhail Ilyin, the Pens' top Russian prospect, who is over in America for this development camp. Looking here, just going to breeze through these real quick. Pittsburgh Pirates, they're off today, but there is a little bit of news around them. Congratulations, David Bednar. He was named the National League reliever of the month. I think he's 12 for 12 in save attempts. Couldn't have guessed that Bednar would be doing this coming back from, getting sent down to the minors in a rough start of the season for him. But 12 for 12 in save attempts in his last 12 save attempts, 16 strikeouts in the month of June. Gave up no runs, 5 saves, 16 strikeouts, 10 innings pitched. Good for Bednar there. More here. I mentioned it earlier. Former Pittsburgh Pirate pitcher Luis Ortiz is being investigated by the MLB and has been suspended. Well, not suspended. He is on leave, but will be getting paid. Many people are wondering what exactly he's getting investigated for. I don't think it's anything, heinous like, like off the field domestic issues. People were saying, is this betting or is this something else? I would like to think, I'm leaning towards it being a betting issue, illegal gambling, because I think I saw something while I've been live that the MLB is looking into 2 different pitches that he's thrown this year where they suspect that he was intentionally throwing balls. No clue, but yeah, so Luis Ortiz is getting investigated. If he is, found guilty of illegal gambling, sports betting, he will immediately, like former Bucco Ticapita Marcano, will receive a lifetime ban from baseball in the MLB. We'll see there. A couple other things here from the Pirates. Some more rumors about potential trades for them to make. Mitch Keller, Key Brian Hayes, David Bednar, they all have rumors around them. Bednar, I think, is being looked at by the Toronto Blue Jays. Don't know what will come from that. But the most notable rumor about, a team looking to potentially make a trade with the Pens that has come out today, Ken Rosenthal, one of the MLB top insiders, says that the Kansas City Royals, who the Bucks, will be playing here next week, they are interested in Brian Reynolds. So I wonder what the Royals will be willing to part with for Reynolds. Immediately, my mind goes to, let's get Jag Caglione. But I doubt they do that. Their top hitting prospect. So Brian Reynolds apparently being looked at by the Kansas City Royals, who the Bucks will see here coming up on the road trip. That begins tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, I should say. 4:10 start out on the West Coast against the Seattle Mariners. Couple other minor notes here. Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette covers the Steelers, says that the Steelers, Jonnu Smith, is the Steelers' third tight end, and that he is Michael Pruitt, but a better version. Dulac, with all due respect, I have no idea what the hell you are saying there. Michael Pruitt and Jonnu Smith, even though they both, have Arthur Smith ties, they are completely and totally 2 different players and have nothing close similar to each other. And I guarantee you, Jonnu Smith, probably through week 5, will have more production than Michael Pruitt had all of last year with the Steelers. I thought that was an absolutely crazy thing to say by Jerry Dulac. Jonnu Smith, he was also on the Teron Armstead podcast. Armstead, former offensive tackle for the Dolphins, who just retired this offseason as well. Jonnu Smith said, quote, "I'm blessed. I'm a Steeler. I'm playing for one of the most historic sports franchises in the history of sports under a great coach with Mike, but back with my guy, Arthur Smith, who I've had a lot of success with throughout my career. And so I'm extremely blessed, bro. I couldn't be more excited." That quote there from Jonnu Smith, the first time we've heard from him or Jalen Ramsey, in a quote fashion since they've come to the black and gold. Back to that trade, Mason Rudolph, like a couple of other Steeler players, he officially got around to saying on social media his goodbyes to Minkah Fitzpatrick, posting on his Instagram story, "Ultimate Pro, Ultimate Leader, see you when I see you at FittyPat21. So Rudolph, just like Deshaun Elliott and Patrick Queen, bidding a friendly farewell to Minkah Fitzpatrick. Just looking here, think that is all the news that I was planning to talk about tonight for the live stream. I figured, while I'm live here for an hour and a half, let's just do it now. So appreciate you all for sticking with me throughout that. Let me go back here to the comments. Where did I leave off? Try to catch up. Khan is mediocre, to be honest. No, he is not mediocre. When you can trade away Chase Claypool, who immediately leaves the NFL, get a second round pick, which at the time was basically a first round pick because the Miami Dolphins had a first round pick taken away. That is that's the furthest thing from mediocre. That is fleecing to the ultimate definition. Bumblebee jerseys with gold pants and gold helmets. Yeah, maybe. More of a yellow thing. I have seen someone put out a concept art thing where it's an all yellow uniform for the Steelers. I don't see them going that hardcore yellow, but the yellow helmet makes you wonder. Michael Madsen died. Damn, Reservoir Dogs. I haven't seen that in my timeline. It's just strictly sports right now. Our throwback jerseys, Bumblebee jerseys will look good with gold pants and Bumblebee socks and gold helmets. I could see it. I could take it. Domestic violence, no, not for, Luis Ortiz. Domestic violence, yeah, nothing that malicious. I think it's strictly baseball where they're looking into gambling or possibly PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, but it looks more like it's going to be illegal betting. We'll see if a verdict gets reached today. I have a Troy Bumblebee jersey. Nice. What do we do with Connor Hayward, since we got Jonnu Smith? He's going to be fighting for his time on this team. At this point, I get part of the Connor, in college, good tight end fullback mix there. And also, I'm sure he, at least in a little bit, was drafted to the Steelers because Cam's his brother. But Connor, I think it's been proven time and again now, he is not a tight end in the NFL. Maybe he's a fullback, but also Jonnu can play fullback. So he better fight his ass off in training camp and in the preseason, as a fullback, but also as a special teamer if he wants to stay on this team, heading into this year. Jonnu, Darnell, and Freiermuth, that is a pretty unshakable trio at tight end, I will say. Okay, going to do another scroll here through Twitter, see if we have anything else. The NFL account on X dropping catches, receiving yards, and TDs. Drop your stat predictions for DK Metcalf this season. I'm going to go about 73 receptions for, let's say, between Let's go around 920 yards, and I'll lock him in for 8 touchdowns. I think, Rodgers is going to look his way quite often. Also, is he going to be used as a red zone threat more than George Pickens? I think so. 6'4", 230. Just toss a go ball or jump ball to the outside and let Metcalf go up and go get it. Also, another thing here, videos of off-season workouts have commenced. We saw, videos of Aaron Rodgers playing b-ball with Ben Skoranek and company yesterday. Jaylen Warren, just talking about how this dude is an absolute machine for his size. I'm watching a video right now of him pulling a soccer goal on a strap. Like, damn. He was also doing like side cuts with it too. That's insane. Okay, scrolling here. Not seeing too much other news, so I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up here today. Gonna view these comments one more time. What do we do with Connor Hayward? We covered that one. Hayward better fight his ass off a training camp. Yeah, that's all he can do. You cannot, for your first year or two, ride the name that your brother, just because your older brother's on the team, doesn't mean that you can, now just stay here because of that. He's got a hell of a, challenge carved out for him. He's got to fight off Jonnu Smith to, be a fullback in the rare cases that the Steelers use fullbacks. But also, he's going to need to be one of Danny Smith's 4 or 5 hardcore special teamers to stay on this team. I have a feeling that he will, because he is pretty decent at special teams, but still, though, it's going to be a hell of a training camp for him. So I think that's going to be it today here, ladies and gentlemen. I like Jerry Dulac. Did I say Jerry Dulac? I meant Danny Smith. Didn't mean to say Jerry Dulac if I did. Jerry Dulac's the Steelers insider. Danny Smith is the special teams coach. Had Jerry Dulac on my mind from that Jonnu Smith being Michael Pruitt thing, whatever. I think that's going to do it here today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on such abrupt notice. General Manager Omar Khan signs an extension with the Steelers through 2028. Exciting news there. Appreciate Nathan, THP the third, Flacco, so many others in here that have commented. Sorry if I did not get to you all. Corey Beavers. Thank you all for joining me here today. Pittsburgh Fan 412. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for sticking with me here for nearly 2 hours, breaking down this news and so much more. We'll put out a PSA right now. Do not know when I am going to be live again, whether it's tomorrow or Monday. I understand tomorrow, 4th of July, lots of people got lots of different things going on. So unless there is either a ton of different Pittsburgh sports news, or if there is some massive breaking news story just like this, planning on not being live tomorrow. I understand a bunch of people got, different stuff going on for the 4th of July. So hope you all enjoy your 4th of July. Don't celebrate too hard. Enjoy some nice food. Don't lose any fingers shooting off fireworks if you do so. We are up to 460 subscribers on the channel, so I appreciate the 2 subscribers that did just that. So thank you very much. And yeah, that's going to do it for the final time. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Like, share, and comment on this video, and I will see you guys back here the next time I see you. Thank you for joining me. Omar Khan, the Steelers GM for the foreseeable future. Happy times here in Pittsburgh. Now, TJ Watt, wide receiver 2 possibly. Let's get those things done. Thank you guys for joining me. See you back here tomorrow or on Monday. Peace. Have a good 4th of July.